Welcome to Mental Millennials with your host, Shelby Friesen.
Okay, today I've got Austin Copson. We've been longtime friends for, I don't know, got to be 10 years or so now, if not more, 13 years or so.
Yeah.
And we had recently, I don't know, it's not like we ever disconnected, but I feel like, I don't know, we've always been there, but I guess our friendship was early on based a lot around partying and, which was fine. I mean, that was like our community at the time, and we all hung out at my parents' house, got pissed off, had always a lot of fun and stuff. But then in the more recent years, we've kind of like you split off, get jobs and start doing things for your own life and, taking care of your own health and other things. So we've kind of like gone through a lot of weird, transformative different stages of life while still in contact. So it's kind of a cool journey. And we're going to be going and just kind of talking about that, like our friendship and where it started and where it's led to and just shit that's happened. So, yeah.
Let's go.
Do you want to introduce yourself or you want to just talk about how you met us or
well, my name's Austin Copson.
Most of you know him.
Yeah. I met Shelby actually I was in grade 8. So that would have been 13 years ago.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. I originally I don't know if you remember this, but the first time I actually remember seeing you was at your dad's house. You would bike down to the other street, and those kids had the dirt jumps in their ditch. It was Weston or
yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I recall in grade 7, me and Dion, my best friend, we used to bike there from my dad's house all the time, and we would always go there and bike. And I recall seeing you and Jamie there one time, but we never talked or anything.
Yeah, I feel like we definitely crossed paths a lot. Honestly, from biking, even at Crankworks and stuff when we were younger and shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And but the first memory I really have of you was in high school, the start of grade 8. When September, we're getting to know everybody, because everybody has or came from different elementary schools, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Poppy, the high school we came from, there was probably 5 or 6 elementary schools around where we lived that kids would come from, and the main ones I feel were was mine, Peterson Road, and then you guys North Otter.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember it was September, we had this it was all the new kids got to meet each other. They had lunch and whatever. And I remember meeting Jamie, your brother.
Yeah.
And then it was a month after that, he came up to me and Dion. We were in the hall, and he's like, "Hey, my brother's having a high school party. You guys want to come join?" And I was super scared. I was these guys are so much older than us. They're 16, 17 at the time. But we went because your birthday was in October, I think, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So
October 8th.
So yeah, I recall going to your dad's house, and it was all new to me. I've never been around older people at the time and stuff, and I just recall there's this huge fondue machine and just the best food, and all you guys were wasted, and I think we had a beer or two, but I never really got drunk.
Mm-hmm.
And then I recall I slept at your guys' house that night, and at your dad's house, you and Jamie had the coolest rooms growing up. You guys had these beds that were
yeah, they were hung from the ceiling.
So you guys would sleep up there, but then there was all this room on the floor. So I remember sleeping on Jamie's floor, and then you coming up to me and you literally caressed me, and you wouldn't let me go. You're "No, my baby," and you were holding me, and I was "Who the fuck is this guy?" It was okay, so finally these are how these brothers are, and it's just nothing's changed in that fact. You guys have just always been that open to people and open arms and stuff.
Yeah, forget how touchy we are.
Yeah, dude.
Sometimes, because even with because we had our step brother Nick, he had been living there too, so we were the same with him. We would dude, we're watching movies tonight, and we would make him go in the middle, and me and Jamie would basically cuddle him.
And he's dude,
all night. He's get the fuck off of me.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just pretty touchy family, but yeah.
But yeah, so throughout high school and stuff, we all became a lot closer. I went to school with your brother, and dude, your house was that one house we would always go to skip school and make food and just hang out, and it was always that open house to us.
And Yeah, the other thing that's coming to mind right now too is how like none of our age differences ever mattered. Like
Yeah,
there was
totally.
there was other households that I would go to, and like the older brothers would be like, "No, fuck you guys," and like it was very separated. And if they were like a couple grades apart, they wouldn't hang out, or they would think it's weird at our house because like everybody would hang out. I was like, man, I don't fucking care who it is or how old you are. We would always just like everyone would just chill.
Yeah, no, totally. That was like a good feeling too, because I feel like I didn't really like vibe with like the kids my age. Like there was like only like I probably count on one hand like the actual like friends I like really had that like were in my age group. And that was like a big thing, like getting out of high school, like all my friends are older than me. I only have like 2 friends right now that are my age. Like they're mostly all older than me, and like it just feels normal.
Yeah,
it's not like it's like
you just realize how much it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I think it was, I don't know. There was definitely a lot of stuff like that. I think it was cool. I mean, even me, like I have a lot of older friends from that too, like Josh and other people. And that was kind of like the crazy part too. It wasn't just like me who was older than you. There was like my friends who were like the same. So they're like 2,
but like older too. And like so we still would all party and like it would just be fine.
Yeah. So then like some of the people are actually like 4 or 5 years older than you. So it was always, it was
I definitely felt pretty cool like going to those parties. I was like, yeah, this is sweet.
Yeah, man. We had a lot of like,
dude, a lot of memories growing up.
Yeah, I don't know, like just skipping school and going there and literally doing whatever. And I don't know. I mean, Dwayne didn't necessarily like it. Dwayne's my dad, but
Dwayne didn't really like me a lot when I was younger because I was pretty like, I would like smoke cigarettes at your dad's house and like throw butts on the ground, and like he would like find that, and like obviously like me at that age, like I don't think I'm like whatever, like why is he such a fucking asshole? But like I look back and like if that was my house, I totally understand where he comes from.
But
like,
I think the same thing too. Though is like when we would have parties, like he never wanted us to have parties, but well, obviously,
but did.
We would always have them, and you weren't the only person who smoked.
No,
so. But it was like literally impossible to clean up fucking all these cigarette butts. Like you're always going to miss one. So like every time there would be any, he's like, fucking Austin. And it's like,
I always get to blame. Like, I was just that easy target. Like, oh, it was Austin.
It's just because he's the only one that he knows. Like when he doesn't know there's like 50 to 100 people at his house, like obviously he's going to blame it.
Man, I totally forgot like how many people would be at your guys' house and like the parties, and like you guys would just pay someone to clean it the next day. Like,
oh yeah,
poor Dwayne, man. Like our parents just go through so fucking much. Like just dealing with that through high school. But like it's a good thing because like I'm like there's no memory that I would ever like want out of my life. Like I'm so happy we like had those stages in our lives, because like I just look back and I'm like, man, like thankfully like I've outgrown a lot of like bad habits and stuff, but like there's no like bad time I look back at. Like it was all like just great memories. Like we laugh at, like we still laugh to this day about like all the dumb stuff that we used to do.
Yeah, I think I know it's kind of like even right now sometimes I feel like I don't know, like even doing this sober challenge thing and all that stuff, like it's like I never once wished that I didn't do the things that I've done or that I didn't drink enough to fuck myself up. It's like those were the things that teach you all that stuff. And like, there's definitely a lot of good things it brought. Like even in our younger age, like, you know, as we did all start to drink more, like it just kind of like, you know, brings you closer and builds that community. And then it almost like just use that later now.
Yeah.
Still, but yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think of some of like the stupid ass shit that we did there.
I feel like because you guys graduated 3 years after me and like Jamie and stuff, right?
True.
So you started going to the clubs 3 years before us. So like you, like at that stage when you were 19, we were 16, 17.
Yeah.
So then we were still in grade 11 and 12. So like we would still be going to like high school parties and like you guys would still come.
Yeah,
you guys would show up to the high school parties and like it'd be fine. And then but you guys, like, it was that little stage where it was like, fuck, like, we have 2 years. These guys were partying. Like, we were just like, so ready to go to the clubs. Like, because we were just like, look at all the snaps and like.
And I feel like we would all meet up after. Like, we would go out and party at the clubs. And then you guys would be partying somewhere, but they all fucking close at 2.
Yeah.
So then we would just meet wherever. So, like, if you guys were at a party, or we would all just go to, like, Dwayne's house after and continue partying.
The after parties were always the best, in my opinion.
Oh, 100%.
We always had the best times after the clubs.
Yeah.
Like, whenever it was from like Mitchell's townhouse, like how many times would we go there after Gabby's? Like we would literally just party there like twice a weekend. And it was always funner, I feel like, because we could just dance and like be ourselves.
Yeah, literally all we would do is just, I feel like people didn't know what the hell we did. Like even when we had house parties and shit, like we would just, there'd be 4 dudes, literally 4 dudes.
Dance floor,
and
man.
we would just dance till like 5 in the morning doing like, I don't even know. It doesn't even make sense. But
Yeah.
it was always just like, I don't know, a good time. It just like felt good to be together.
No, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like we still look back, like even like a lot of the people we used to hang out with, like we've all outgrown like certain friends. Like I look back at it now, like that group that we always used to be with, like there's only like 4 or 5 of us that actually still talk like pretty frequently nowadays.
Yeah, that's true. I think it's because we all did those things before.
Yeah.
Like we were friends before that kind of stage. Like there's definitely, I feel like as we drank and went through, like as we kind of evolved through the drinking, like from high school house parties to going out, also like social media was evolving then too. Like I don't know, man. I think about it in the way that we grew up. It's like, okay, in high school, we're putting Facebook statuses that are just like, you couldn't even post fucking photos. Remember, like for so long,
there was
just
no news feeds of like news. It was just statuses.
Yeah, and like it was literally just statuses. Like I'm going to bed. Like you literally just see the dumbest shit. But then, in even Snapchat wasn't even a thing till like I don't even think I had that in high school.
No, it definitely wasn't. I think it came out.
Because sometimes I joke about how
like
it
18,
ruined my
when I was, like-
first relationship. Because like we started Snapchatting shit, and then like. Yeah, man. I just feel like we were all friends before these like kind of maybe faker or like unrealistic things came around. Where like we were all friends in high school. We were friends because of who we actually were and like connecting, like a real connection. And then we grew with the social media and like whatever, we started using fucking Snapchat and Instagram and stuff. But then, like even I'm not gonna say any names, but it just makes me think about one of our friends had like literally 2 girlfriends for like fucking straight like
Oh my god.
2 like honestly for like 2 years, man. And I don't even know them, either of them. I've never seen them in my life.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we did, didn't we?
or maybe
At the time we did.
Maybe I knew one, but I was
We didn't even know what was going on at the time though. Like we did near the end of it.
No,
But like that's how good like this guy was at like being like that person. I don't know.
But it only worked because no one like knew each other, had a way to find mutual friends. Whereas like that was like at the beginning of Instagram, probably when I was like 19 or 20. And as it started evolving, like I remember
2012, I think. So you were 19. Yeah. And I was grade 11. That's when Instagram came out, 2012.
Yeah. Cause like as it started evolving, we would be like going out to parties, like, oh yeah, like you'd get an Instagram from people. And at first it'd be like, oh, they like know one person, you know, or whatever. Because you could see the followed by
and
thing.
You would see like the first 11 likes, but as soon as the names would disappear and you got 11 likes, like that was a big thing.
Oh yeah, I know.
And the hashtags, it was like, like just whatever. It's just like.
But then now, as it evolved, you started to see like, you're like, oh shit, this person knows like 30 people I know. Yeah. And like the weird chain of like intertwining everyone, I feel like you just start to meet so many people. And like, when we were drinking and going through this and meeting all these people, I feel like we would meet groups because like everyone would kind of be in groups. So we'd like get into a group of friends and we'd like make some new ones, but then we would just like keep rolling over. Like we always stayed the same, like our core group, but then we would like make new friends and then they would, I don't know, it was almost just like, because you don't really know who anybody is. It's like, just because you saw them on Instagram or you're like mutual friends, it doesn't really mean much. Like you'd basically hang out with them for enough time to realize if you're like connecting or not, or if they liked you or vice versa. And then that was it. Whereas like for us, we had like been friends for a long time before that. So we always stuck through whatever it was that was coming from other places.
Yeah.
So
no, that's totally true. Cause I feel like we always had like our core group of friends when we would go out. And then there would be like 6 months to a year periods that like other people would tag along, or we would hang out with certain different groups, and then like in the end, like it just was always us.
Yeah.
And I still feel like that because like,
Yeah.
but for sure in the past couple years, like we've like toned down like everything. Like I like personally, like in the past 2 years, like haven't even really partied at all.
Yeah, I think it was like really good that we did that earlier, you know, like I'm happy
Oh my
that
God, man. If that was like still like how we are now, like I don't even think I would be here.
No, man.
Dude, we would party like long weekends, 3 fucking nights a weekend. Regular weekends, Friday, Saturday, Gabby's, Town Hall.
Oh yeah.
Downtown. Like
every night. And like we also, it was late too. Like we would go and party with people, and at 2 o'clock they'd be going to bed, and we're like, dude,
we're after partying until 5 in the morning.
Yeah, like every night. And you know, we weren't even doing drugs like for a long time.
Okay, bud.
Well, I'm serious. Like even now when I drink and like,
no, yeah.
And it's like 1 o'clock. I mean, I haven't in a long time, but you know, in my more recent years, like if I decide I'm going to get pissed up for a night, it's like, I'm not going to bed at 2.
Yeah.
And it's just, I've never been like that. I'm just like, I don't know. I feel like anything I do, I'm just all in.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'm the same way. You all know me. You know my stories. Like, dude, like I don't like when I'm partying. Like there's no quitting until like there's either no booze, no drugs, or like I'm alone in my room and I'm like, I just have to go to bed. This is just like,
dude, you know, he gets so hectic. I just like, you know, or like when you like, dude,
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that we talk about like my past stories. Like there was like substances involved and like a lot of drinking, but like this is like the past. Like totally, like I've definitely outgrown that a lot. So like you can't just think I'm like that. But like I said, man, I would never take any of it back. It's made me who I am now. So like,
yeah, man,
it is what it is.
Yeah, I don't think it matters at all. It's just like so funny, and I even sometimes now I get worried to talk about it, like if I'm with new friends or something, and like, you know, breaking up that maybe I did, because like I think people are so easy
to judge.
Yeah, and to just think that. I mean, I was bad for this too, where I just thought people don't change. I had like a lot of weird experiences with girls where they would just like, I don't know, like a lot of weird, like random, not even like sort of cheating on things where they would just do things. And I'm like, man, like
all girls are the same.
All girls are shit, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay. Whereas like now, I mean, for many years with us, with friends that we had met and stuff, they just didn't like us. And like, yeah, like we were dicks and shit for like a few years, and we weren't the nicest people. But it's funny now to see those people again with such a different view a lot of times, where I'm like, dude, I don't fucking care. Like, doesn't matter to me. Like that, it just feels like that was a lifetime ago, you know? And I think that when people hold that against you, like that's just their own problem now. So that's okay. But I think too, like a lot of times when people ask me, like, oh, like, you know, like, what'd you do when you used to party and all this kind of shit? I'm like, I don't know. Like, do you really want to know?
I know. That's what I'm kind of like phrasing. Like, do I like tell like all our stories? But I mean, like, that's our life.
Yeah.
And if
like,
people just can't like accept that and listen to it and like,
yeah, like at first you like, yeah, especially with like my new girlfriend situation, like, you know, I'm kind of sitting there and like her family or sisters or whoever's asking.
There's a place and time. Like,
yeah. I mean, they're getting more open to it for sure, but like just weird shit where at the beginning I always hold back when I meet people, and it's like, I don't know, man, like the shit we used to do. And like, I'm just right now I have in my head this like, she had ran like this route we used to run. She took a photo of this house.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I like this house. And I was like, oh, we literally like stole this golf cart one year. And then we would just drive. We were like, we wasn't even old enough to drive, I don't think, but we would drive around with a 2.6 of Crown, 3 of us on a fucking golf cart, riding around the neighborhood, drinking it. And
I remember when you guys had that golf cart in your dad's shop, dude.
Yeah, man. We just told him we got it for free, but we actually stole it. Yeah. And then he fucking, we drew the house she sent me a photo of. They have like a vinyl fence. I've never seen anyone who has it before.
And
like,
you took that fence out.
Yeah, it looks like wood, but Jamie was driving. He's like, fuck, he's like, I'm gonna hit it. And I'm like, no, dude, this is gonna hurt so much, because we thought it was wood, but when he hit it, it literally exploded into like a million pieces. Yeah. And their lawn was like all covered in Christmas shit, just mowed it down. And
me, Jamie, and Nick Schaefer did the same thing at that I don't even know if I should just name drop the golf course. Probably not. But like the one near your guys' house.
Yeah.
And we took 2 of those golf carts one night. Those things were like the easiest things to hotwire. You literally would just go in the cup holder, boom.
Yeah.
Like thing would start.
Yeah, man, it's kind of funny because I think about it sometimes too. I'm like, I don't know, like, should I not talk about this stuff? Because what if someone hears it and then like tries to fucking sue me or go to jail or something? But at the same time, like every time I drive by those places, I'm like, when I'm fucking rich in a couple years and like something I do works, I'm gonna go back to all those places and just like straight, I'm gonna order like 100 brand new golf carts to get delivered to that place with like a note saying, I'm that asshole that stole your golf cart. Here you go. And even those other places where it's like, dude, I never forget those things we did. And it's not that like, I don't feel bad. I don't know. It's not that I don't feel bad. Like, I'm not sitting here thinking like, oh, you fucking idiots. Like, we stole your shit. Fuck you. It's more like, man, like that was funny. I want to be able to laugh about it. But at the same time, I always think like, I wonder how I can like make that up to them like years later.
Yeah.
Like even that house, it's just like, imagine walking up to that person's house with that fence and like it's fixed. I ran to it yesterday to look, obviously. I mean, that was 10 years ago maybe, but imagine going up to that house in like, you know, a couple of years from now and just saying like, hey, you know,
here's some money, buy a new fence.
Yeah, I literally like blew through your fence like however long ago. I just wanted
I
to
just hope it's the same people that own the house when it happened at the time. That's the thing. They'll be like, oh, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, oh, whatever. You can have this anyways. Who gives a shit? Yeah, I just think like it's cool to do that.
Honestly, if I was like old and like my fence got ruined and like somehow I knew it was like kids hammered like on a golf cart, I would probably laugh. I'd be like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, man. I don't think I would be that mad. I don't know.
Because I just look back and we've done that stuff. But there's a lot of people that haven't had those experiences and don't understand like what it's like being like that. So it's like,
yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. I never really think, I don't know. I think for us, this is something that comes up a lot for me too, is like we've done all these like not weird, but just like we've done a lot of dumb shit and like, doing that, you know, that like I just think it makes everything else in life easier in a sense, and it makes like it makes harder times easier.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
like we've done so much stupid shit, we've gotten troubles for so much stuff that it's like you just start to not be so scared of like doing things or, you know, taking risks. And you know, back in the day, our risks were like stealing stupid shit or getting super hammered and doing dumb shit, but now it's like applying those lessons from risk to like useful shit.
Yeah, no, for sure. I just want to like go back to what you were just talking about, how like you kind of have to like kind of watch what you say around your new girlfriend's like parents in a sense, because you don't want to be judged in a sense. I literally dealt with the same thing with my like most recent ex, where like I was so worried what her parents would think about me. Like, I have tattoos and stuff, right?
Right.
And
yeah.
like for the first 3-4 months that I used to go to her house when we first started like dating, I would wear long sleeves. Like I wouldn't even wear like my my tattoos out, because I was like, you know what? Like people are so quick to judge tattoos. Like a lot of people are like, oh, like he sells drugs or he's a gangster. It's like, no, I literally just like the artwork. Like,
yeah.
I just like that. But like, that's just another thing. It's just like, but then it was so weird because like when they found out I had them, they were just like so acceptance of it. So it's like, you always think things are a lot different than what like the actual outcome's going to be. So
like she didn't tell you that her parents, I would think something from them.
She told me it wasn't a big deal. She's like, no, they're not going to say anything. But like, I just had this like gut feeling. I'm like, oh, I want them to get to know me before they like assume what I like am like, because a lot of people can just assume things off looks, right?
No, 100%. Did I ever tell you that story about Derek when we went into a restaurant in Aldergrove?
No.
And he had his tattoos out. So he's got like, I think he's got a full, I don't know if his legs, I think he has like his leg sleeves
He's got
done
a lot
too.
of tattoos,
yeah, so it's like 2 sleeves and his leg. And there was this restaurant in Aldergrove we'd never been to. And I don't know, we're going to pick up some parts. This is my business partner from Ride. And he's like, oh, fuck, should we try this restaurant? I'm like, sure. So we go in and we sit down. And this is like when I was still like all anxietied out too from stuff. So like I was just kind of getting back from it. And we went there and I think there was like a couple other families in this old couple. And him and I sat down And it was like summer, so we were in t-shirt and shorts, both of us.
They're all just showing.
Yeah, so you could see everything. I mean, I'm assuming this is why this happened. Like, there's no other reason why it wouldn't. So I was sitting there and we were like this. So Derek would have been like, I was facing him, but behind Derek was this couple and they were sitting like sideways. And there was this old man and lady, and this guy was like, me and Derek were just talking. We'd ordered an orange juice or something at this point. So we'd been there for like 5 minutes. And I hear this guy, he's like over there and he's just saying some weird shit. I forget. He's like, oh, he's like, fucking, oh, I don't remember. He was just like staring. I mean, I'm like kind of looking behind him, like, yeah, I'm not going to keep looking at this guy. And then I remember the wife being like, just be quiet and eat. Just be quiet and eat. Like saying it to him. I'm like, dude, the fuck? And I'm like, dude, I think like, I'm like to Derek, dude, I think this guy's talking about us. And he's like, what? And I'm like, yeah, man, this old fucking man behind us is like staring at us and shit, like doing weird shit. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, no, he's not. I'm like, dude, I think he's like, should I just turn around? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, so Derek just turns around. He's like, just looks at him. He's like, man, like something wrong. And the guy's like, what do you do for work? Derek's like, what, man? He's like, what do you mean what do I do for work? He's like, it's none of your business. Yeah. And he's like, what do you do for work? And he's like, basically, obviously thinks you're like a gangster or something is what,
yeah, exactly
what I'm assuming. And the guy, it just kept asking all these questions. And Derek's like, man, it's none of your fucking business. Like, don't worry about what we do. Eat your fucking breakfast. And I'm like, oh, great. Here we go. We're going to like fight this 80-year-old. Like, what the hell is going on?
You're just freaking out.
No. So yeah, we're sitting there literally. And the wife at this point is like, she's like, just shut up. And like getting mad at him. And I forget what he said, but Derek finally stands up. He's like, don't think I won't punch you out, old man.
Oh my God. Literally, and I could just picture you because you used to get so like nervous in like those heated moments.
Yeah, dude.
You're probably just like, oh my God.
I'm getting straight anxiety. And I'm like, dude, like, is this gonna happen? And the wife started crying. She's like, stop. And we're just like, fuck you. We're not even gonna eat this place anymore. And we just walked out. I was like, oh my God. But it's just like, why would you be like that? It's like that guy's literally just like, I don't know.
You never know. Like, yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like people just have such different perspectives on that stuff. Like I've felt like in situations where I've been out, like people have like been eyeing me for like that. I'm like, dude, I'm like the last guy that would be a gangster. Like, come on. Yeah.
Even other people like who maybe are those things or whatever, like think you might be a bad person, like you know, someone else or something. Yeah, man. It's, I don't know. It's weird, but it's not. I don't know. I think it also comes too from like a lot of it. Like I also used to judge people on those things, right? And that's a lot. Usually why it happens too is because I'm judging other people, so that I'm assuming that other people are doing the same thing to me.
And then you started working at Ride, and all Derek's buddies have tattoos, and you're just around these guys all day.
Yeah, man. Like I think that was cool. Like that was a really good experience for me to, you know, get to spend time with them and other people. And like, you know, they're a really close friend group as well. And like, you know, it's kind of like, dude, people do get intimidated. Like when, you know, we would go places with like a few of us, like I can tell, like when you walk into a restaurant, there's all these families. It's just like 3 big dudes, like fully tatted.
Oh yeah.
And I just always felt like I looked so funny. Cause like, I'm just this skinny little dude with like ripped jeans on and like Vans. And it's not like they dress weird. They kind of wear the same thing, but I don't know. Like it just in my own mind, I feel like you look so much tougher with like tattoos. Sure. I don't know. They just looked like, I just thought they looked tougher than me. And it was always funny. Like when I would watch, I would pay a lot of attention to people's reactions. Like when we would go places or do things. It was kind of funny.
It's kind of like a sense like going like clubbing with Mitchell at the time. Like
yeah,
one of our good best friends, he's like 6'4", like 250 pounds. And like I still cannot name one time we've ever had a confrontation at a club when Mitchell was there.
Yeah.
Because like no one would ever want to fuck with him. Like, yeah. Even though he's like a peacemaker, like he wouldn't fight. Yeah, but like it's just like that image where like people are like, dude, this guy literally looks, he's massive. And like, yeah. So I've never had a confrontation like with that guy around. And it goes like that. People just like think so differently. Like this guy would just kill anyone, but he's like the complete opposite. He's just like, he'll stop fights. He'll make sure like fights won't stop.
Yeah. No, it's so funny. Yeah. It's, I don't know. Just a weird thing.
Yeah. But I guess we can like maybe start getting into how when you started like getting all like this anxiety and like like all like the habits started taking a toll on you. And like,
Mm-hmm.
I think you were what age? You were 22, 21, 22, 23?
Yeah, I want to say I was like 23. I don't know.
Okay,
It's
so that
been
makes
like
sense,
been like
'cause-
4 or 5 years from now.
No, that makes sense because I would have been 20 years old. And so, like, honestly, like, this is like a part where I would judge people.
Mm-hmm.
Like me growing up, man, like I would always hear, like, when we were younger, like anxiety wasn't really a thing. Like
No,
people
I never
weren't
really heard
talking
about
about
it.
it. It was never really brought up and mentioned. Like, and like, yeah, like obviously there's been times where I've felt like a little off and stuff, but like coming from like the household I grew up in, like my dad, he's just like so opposite of that, where like he would make you feel like it's just like a complete lie and like,
Mm-hmm.
like just grow out of it or kind of something. But
Yeah.
but so like I remember like you dealing with all this stuff, and like I was still in like literally like the like
You're-
climb of my party stage. So
Yeah.
like I'm still like, what the fuck? Like there's no way I'm not partying.
Mm-hmm.
So like you and Jamie were living in you guys' place in Brookswood,
Mm-hmm.
and then you started like dealing with it. You weren't really so open about it at first, but like I would remember like you being like, no, I'm not wanting to go out.
Mm-hmm.
No, like kind of just like backing away from it. And then like we finally like found out like what was going on with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't even want to like say this. It's kind of like
Dude,
just
I don't
me being an
care.
asshole, but like I was like, fuck, man, like Shelby's such a pussy. Like, what is wrong with this kid? Like, he's fucking like he's got anxiety. Like, that's not even a real thing. Like, what, he can't fucking party anymore? Like,
Mhm.
and like I was always like, I'm not just saying that was me. Like, a lot of our friends thought that.
Oh, 100%, man.
And like I just never really understood like what was going on in your body. And that's like a really selfish thing too.
Mm-hmm.
But that was just my mindset. I was like, man, like there's no way this guy could feel this shitty for this long and like
Mm-hmm.
change his complete diet. Like that year that you did your full transformation and like tried to start all these new things.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I didn't see you for one fucking year.
Yeah, I know.
Like literally the whole year I was like, this is the longest time I've never seen this guy for. And then we would try to get you out like all the time. We're like, Shelby, come to the bar, come downtown. And like, we just never really fully understood. But like a lot lately, like since like I've learned a lot about myself and like I've learned that I've dealt with like some depression and anxiety lately, maybe my whole life. And like, I'm just starting to learn about it now because like I said, I would always just shy away from it and like, be like, no, it's nothing. Brush it off. Like
Mm-hmm.
this isn't real.
Yeah.
But, I don't even know where I was going with that with you and your depression and anxiety. Oh yeah. So like now I look back at it and like, I feel so bad. And like, I totally understand, man. Like it happens. And like, it honestly, like, as weird as it is, like, dude, that was meant to happen to you in a way, because like,
Oh, yeah.
look at like your habits and stuff and like drinking, eating, dude, we would be at your dad's house. You would be like coming home with like a 1 liter of chocolate milk, fucking desserts. Like you would eat like shit.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I never was like that. Like I always eat pretty good my whole life. Like my parents would never buy like sugary stuff. I never got like sugar cereal. I never got like fruit gushers. Like I was pissed when I was a kid because I was like, dude, everybody gets the best snacks.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
get fucking cucumbers and balsamic vinegar, like just like weird things.
Yeah.
But like I recall you at like for so long, you would literally like you needed a dessert every day. You would go to Dairy Queen, you get a Blizzard. You would go to Krauseberry, you get a freaking pie.
And a milkshake.
Every
and shit.
day, dude. Like
Wendell's.
whenever I saw you at your dad's house, you'd be working on cars, you'd be doing something, but you'd always be eating something shitty.
Mm-hmm.
So like you just add a bunch of that stuff up and then it's obviously just a recipe for disaster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it could happen to anyone. Like, dude, like bad habits, like you like keep doing it. Just like recently I was just up at camp and I just found out my dad had a heart attack. And it's like, dude, my whole life, his habits are worse than like your habits used to be. Dude, that guy doesn't eat breakfast. Like he's a machine, dude. He works like 7 days a week. He doesn't eat breakfast. He'll take a banana to work.
Mm-hmm.
He'll work like a 12 to 15 hour shift daily because like he just loves work. And like he'll come home. His only meal of the day is dinner. He'll eat like a huge dinner and then just start crushing beers. Like every fucking day. Some days he'll forget to eat dinner and just crush beers.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And like me growing up and like seeing that, I thought that was like normal. I was like, oh, like that's not even like a weird thing.
Yeah, I think that's actually like a really important thing that like not necessarily a good important thing, but something that I felt the same way about where I really started drinking. Honestly, I think a lot of it was based around my family.
No, for sure.
Because I lived in Whistler for a few years after high school.
And your uncles work at like...
Yeah, I worked for my uncle's company. They had a fab shop, a steel fabrication shop. And I mean, we would always eat lunch for sure, but it was usually just kind of like, you know, we'd have a quick coffee or something in the morning, and I'd pretty much have a mocha and a cinnamon bun every morning for breakfast, which is fucking hectic. That's like
healthy.
so much sugar. And then for lunch, we'd usually go out and eat like a go out meal. And I liked this one place because it had all day breakfast. So I would just crush French toast and shit.
And that was in Pemby?
Yeah, in Pemby for lunch. And then, but after work, they had a beer machine at the shop.
A beer machine?
Yeah, man. Like literally,
you can literally buy beers.
Yeah, like a pop machine, but you buy beers, but they charged the exact same price as the beer. So you're just paying.
They're just helping the boys out.
Yeah, man. It was just
like, yo, grab a beer.
It was just like a cool thing. So you would pay for your beer, but they would just restock it, so you didn't have to buy beer. So
would they stock it themselves, or someone would come in and stock it?
No, they would go.
They would just buy like a 2-4, or like.
When I was old enough, I did the beer runs when I was 19. So I would take the work truck to the liquor store and buy fucking $400 worth of beers or whatever, and fill the whole thing up. And then, but it was funny because, you know, everyone would sit around. So after work, like, you were pretty much a fucking loser if you didn't have a beer with everyone.
Yeah.
And like, they don't do it anymore. I mean, times are just different now, especially like, this was kind of before like drinking and driving was a huge thing. I mean, obviously it's never been good, but like this was before they had all the crazy rules and all this shit. And, you know, even cops were like less strict, but either way, they would sit there and like everybody would have like at least a few beers, usually like 2 to 5, I would say. And then it would be funny because once you hit like 3 or 4, then my uncles would be like, oh, like people would literally put, they'd make IOUs. He's like, bro, I have
like I'll pay you back $10.
He's like, I have no more change today. So they'd write IOUs and put it in the machine.
Oh
and
my God.
So basically like
they would take it?
Well, no, like you could open up the thing that took the change and you could put IOU in it.
Flop it in there. And then when they take the change out, they see that.
Yeah, they would see it. And then they would take the key and just unlock the machine. So you could just open the door and take it out like a fridge. So every day it would like escalate to, not every day, but it would often escalate to like free range of the beer fridge. And then we would, you know, like that was just normal. Like 5 o'clock hit or 3 o'clock, you drink beers till like 5 or 6 with the guys. And then we'd go home and make dinner and drink a bunch more beers, hit the hot tub, have a couple beers. Like I would pretty much be drunk every night. And like I saw my uncles doing this and all these other guys, and at that point, like you're looking up to these people too. I'm like, man, like they have this cool company, and like one day I want to have my own business and whatever these things.
You're seeing a spitting image of yourself. Like you're like, this is gonna be me.
Yeah, but that's what everybody did, and like you know, my dad drank on weeknights, and like not as much. He used to get mad at me about it, but I'm like, dude, you're still having a glass of wine. I'm just having 2 beers. What's the fucking difference? So it just is such a common thing that people do, like you're saying, where it's just like, I don't know, it just seems normal until it fucks you up. And even they're realizing now how, you know, holy shit, why am I drinking so much of this shit? And they're drinking a lot less too. So yeah, but it's crazy. You just kind of grow up and it is so normal.
Well, I came from a household of alcohol, right? Like my parents both drank, like still to this day. Like my dad will never admit he's an alcoholic, but like he for sure is a functioning alcoholic. Like,
yeah, that's a good description. That's what we say too. It's just like you're a functioning alcoholic.
Like he'll crush beers. He wakes up 5 a.m. every day, goes to work fine. I've never seen that guy have a hangover in his life. I'm like, dude, I drink 2 beers, I'm out for like fucking a week.
Oh yeah, man.
I can't deal with it anymore. Like I just like my body's not built for drinking alcohol.
Well, I don't know if anybody's.
I finally like realized that, but like. Well, for him, for instance, I think like he relies on it because he's so used to drinking. Where like if he's not drinking, like he probably feels really fucked up if he's not like.
I think so too. Yeah, you definitely get like some withdrawal.
It's habits,
stuff.
Right? Like it's like any addiction. It's like you rely on that thing, right?
Yeah, I remember my uncle used to tell me, I'm like, dude, I just like their rules were if you drink with the boys, you got to get up with the men. That's the rule. So like, I don't give a fuck how many beers you have tonight with everybody, but you got to get up and come to work tomorrow. And that was like the one rule. But it was funny about the hangover thing. So I'm like, dude, like, I remember one morning saying something to him and I was like, man, I don't know how the fuck you do it. I was like, I just feel like shit. I was like, I can't fucking do it. And he's like, he's like, you just can't think about it. He's like, just that's
There's
it.
no way you cannot think about it when you feel that shitty.
I know. I'm like, dude, I don't know. Like, you're some veteran fucking mind trained, like hangover beer drinkers. I'm like, holy shit, like I can't do that. Yeah, it's wild. But I don't know. It's just like one of those things that's grown in society. And like even now, like every waitress asks if you want a drink. It's just like a normal thing. Everybody should just
It's
get a
weird
drink.
when you grab a water. You're like at the bar and you're like, I just want a water. Like I just want to order food and a water. And it like you just feel like you're just like shunned upon. You're like,
I feel bad because I think, I mean, I shouldn't feel bad. I don't know, like there's even some restaurants that I personally went to like a lot and bought a lot of drinks.
mm-hmm.
And then I would go back, you know, like later years, like shit, like I just don't do this anymore and get a water and kind of feel bad. But I don't even think it's like, again, it's like just me assuming that waitresses don't like it because the alcohol cranks your bill up. And it makes
that's
you,
how they make their money.
and it makes you more likely to give a bigger tip, I think, too. Like, you know, especially guys, they get a little bit drunk. They're like, oh, you know, I'll just leave a bigger tip.
And you're not just grabbing one beer. You're going to grab 3.
Yeah, not many people just get one. So now it's kind of like, I don't know. But at the end of the day, too, like instead of me getting a beer or 2 to crank up the tip, you know what I mean? Like I'm kind of like, okay, yeah, they would get a bigger tip depending how much I give. But what if I just don't get, like, I don't know. I feel like I'm generous and I want those people to be making, you know, good money and stuff too. So
Still tip 20%. Like,
yeah, I tip 20 everywhere that I go.
yeah, same.
Or like, you know, like I'll never tip less than $5 pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
So like if I go and my meal's $20, like 20% would be 4. Pretty much always leave $5. Because I don't know, it's like, even for me, it's cheaper than me getting a drink or something. You know what I mean? Like I'm still saving money and I'm still getting to give them a good tip. Like I'd rather give this server my money than the alcohol company in reality.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Yeah, I feel like you get a weird like initial service or sometimes even worse service because like all they're getting is food. Who gives a shit?
No, I feel that too. Unless you're going to like an actual restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're at like a pub or bar-y type place, they don't like, it seems like, I don't know, but yeah.
I want to go back onto like what I was like when we were talking about like how we were dealing with you going through your transition. It was like pretty cool thing to see like at times too. Like when you came out with us, we all went to Pemberton Festival. Like it was the last time it was like actually running.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And like obviously we're all there. We're just blasted on like every drug you can think of.
The green room, dude.
Oh my God. But like you would like that was the one moment where like you like actually came out as sober.
Yeah.
And, like you enjoyed yourself. And like I looked at that and I was like, fuck, that's cool. Like when you can actually like be comfortable around 100,000 kids on drugs and then you're the only sober kid at this music festival. I couldn't imagine like what that felt like for you in a sense, because like you still like you were around us and like you knew that we were still all fucked up and like you didn't like judge us or like you didn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the hard part too. Like it definitely had a lot of judgment against people at the start.
Because you probably couldn't fathom the fact that you couldn't do it. So then you're like, fuck, how, like, why do these kids get to do it?
I had that for like a while, like at the beginning, definitely, where I was like, you know what, like what the fuck, why does this happen to me and everybody else can drink? But then it kind of transformed to like I realized how much damage it did to me, and I didn't want that to happen to anybody else.
So you were like looking out for us in a sense.
Yeah,
like,
I was more like worried because I saw so much of like my family and friends using those things, and after that happened to me, like I didn't care that much. I mean, I care about everybody, but like when I saw my own friends and like family doing, that was the hardest thing, where I was like, fuck, like, man, they're gonna, like, I basically was just like, fuck, these guys are just gonna die. And that's like what I was thinking, you know. But at the same time too, it's like for me, if I'm gonna just sit in, like, I could just hide from alcohol the rest of my life, right? Like I could have just sat in my room and gone, fuck you, I'm never coming out. But even like you
did do that for a year.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of had to.
But yeah, no, I
in a sense.
that.
But then I kind of thought, like, you know what? Like, what am I gonna do? Like, just like you were saying about me coming there sober and you being like, wow, that's like pretty cool. If I never did that, like we wouldn't even be talking here right now, probably. I would just never seen you again. Whereas like,
That's a scary thought.
whereas like me coming and being like, you know what, fuck it. Like I'm going to go there and like, I want to try and be an example to show that I can do that. And like, that was the first time I did it. And like, I definitely was a little bit like,
Dude, I remember you had your GABA in your hand. You're popping GABA.
Yeah, I was eating my little like natural calming pills because I was still getting like anxiety and shit a bit by like all the people, but I felt more comfortable like being with you guys, but also just like, you know, letting go and the music. And like, I had a fucking awesome time. And like to this day, I still say like, I wish I could go to another music festival and like just be sober and like do that when you're around so many people. And yeah, man, it was like, it was tough, but it was still fun. And that's something I'm still working on. It's, I think honestly though, those festivals, that's an easy place to do it.
To what, be sober?
Oh yeah, way easier to be sober like
than a club?
Like a festival, yeah, I think than like a club or even a small gathering at home or like with other friends because you're there and like everyone's paying attention to the music. There's so many people. It's like I remember on the Sunday night it was DJ Snake, I think was like the last one.
That's the last the show we saw, yeah.
Yeah, and we were all like dancing and jumping and like these random girls were beside us and she's like, oh, like, how are you guys getting home tonight? And I was like, oh, I'm going to drive.
She's like, what?
She's like,
how?
She's like, what do you mean? She's like, you're all fucked up. I'm like, I'm not fucked up, man. I'm sober. And she didn't believe me. She was like getting scared I was going to drive. I'm like, no, man. Like, I haven't had shit. And like every night, actually, we went back to my aunt's. Like, you guys had camping, but
we came back the one night, we had a hot tub party at your aunt's, and it was so nice because like I didn't feel clean that whole music festival. I was like, dude, I'm fucking disgusting.
Yeah, she made like a big beds for us. There was like 8 of us that went back there and just had a hot tub and just fucking passed out because it was pissing rain.
Yeah, it was pissing rain. That was the thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I found that easier. Like I think still to this day, that was my best sober weekend, like doing anything, because I find it harder to let loose. And because I knew you guys, right? Like I recently went to my now girlfriend's birthday thing, like 3 months into hanging out, and it was a weekend with all her friends in Whistler, and I was like, fuck, like I didn't want to drink, but at the same time, it's very.
You didn't want to be the only person not drinking.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like I could like let loose and be me without it. I don't know. It's just hard. It's just so much harder when like I'm at music festival. I don't fucking care. Even when you're at the bar, like I think of being at the bar is like a little bit in the middle, but when you're like more personal with people, especially people that you don't know, I'm just kind of like sitting there like, okay, what? I'm just going to get up and do a bunch of weird, stupid shit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think also just because our sense of humor and like the shit that we do is like makes it easier.
Dude, not many people like our sense of humor. Like seriously.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's a lot, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Lost a lot of like girl friendships over it.
Yeah. Well,
it's weird thinking how we go back. Like we said, we had like stages. Like we were so close to like certain like even girls and stuff. And then like, dude, I have no idea what any of those people are even doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like no idea.
Yeah. No. It's just the way it goes.
Weird, man.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't know. As far as the sober thing goes, I think, yeah, like, I don't know. It's yeah.
I think you're doing great.
Thanks.
You're welcome. It's like, well, now we can still do stuff. Like recently, me and you, like we can go for runs.
Mm-hmm.
We can literally just go have a bite to eat, like not drink. And like, those are things I've always just wanted to do. But like, I feel like we would always just live for the weekend.
Oh, yeah.
We would work, well, like when we would work.
Yeah, yeah.
But like, it was always like, dude, we would literally just work to finish Monday to Friday, just to have Friday, Saturday to fucking party, be hungover as shit Sunday, go back to work. It's like a merry-go-round, right? You're just like,
oh yeah, every time.
Back and forth, same fucking thing.
Yeah, man. But I don't know. I think even now, like, you know, just even looking at you, like you've made huge changes as well. Like, sure, we had those times where like, we didn't see each other. And even like you scaled up your partying as I was like trying not to die. Mm-hmm. But then as I kind of came back around, we actually did party again a few times. Like I kind of came back for a bit and then realized I was just getting fucked up again. But either way, it doesn't really matter. Like, even now, like the only reason we're sitting here talking about this is because you have opened up a lot to things in your own life and like us and made your own realizations, because if you didn't, you'd just still be doing the same thing. And even like, you know, you made the choice to go out of town and work and like do these things and get a useful job that's going to pay for, you know, a lifestyle that you want, and realizing that, you know, the life that we were living wasn't what you wanted.
Man, there was no way I was going to make it out of that life. I would like, so like when we would like go to the club and stuff, I would always do these odd jobs. So like, actually, I'll just say this. Out of high school, like I used to like work at like a medicinal grow up, and I used to like go in like the mountains of Salmon Arm and like sit up there for months and like grow weed. And like I did it around here, and like it was like at the time it was like sick because I'd be like, oh, $25 an hour cash. Like that was pretty big money back then. I was like, dude, that's fucking sick. So I would like save all this cash up, work whatever, how long, and then I would just blow it at the bar. I would like blow it on clothes, bar, and like literally have no money. Like, and it was just like this vicious cycle, dude. I remember going to the bar at times with like $20 in my checkings and like spend every cent of it on a beer, and then be up like, oh, like Mitchell, grab me a beer. Shelby, grab me a beer.
Well, we would also offer a lot too. I remember that. Like, I never cared. It's like, even if I only had $100,
we always had tabs with Alicia, right? We'd throw everything in there, and you would just throw tabs. Like, if you forget to pay her or not, you go back to Gabby's the next day, pay your tab.
Oh, I know. I always forgot about that. It's just like,
you're like, what did I spend last night? Oh, fuck, 200. Like, that's not even bad.
No, and even if we like, yeah, I don't know, man. And even if you had $20 and I had $80, it was like,
you're getting me drunk.
Essentially, we had $100.
Yeah, literally 100%.
Yeah, it was never really like, I don't know. We always were willing. I remember the same thing. A weekend with Mitchell, we were going like driving out of town. And that's when he was working at the farm. He was like, dude, like, I literally only have $40 till I get paid next week. I'm like, dude, I'll buy the fucking beer. Like, all we're buying is gas and beer. So who gives a shit? So it's just kind of funny. Like, always willing. I don't know. We were never worried about spending our last buck.
No, that's where I'm coming from, though. Like, it was only up until like, I'd say 2 years ago where I really like, I like looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, man, like I got to make a big change here. Cause like where I'm going right now, cause like I've always had big goals and like, like I've always like had certain things I've wanted, like especially like being friends with you guys. You guys were like the youngest guys with houses. Like we had Mitchell, he had his house when he was 20 years old. You guys had your house when you were early 20s. And I just always looked up to you guys in that sense. I'm like, man, like this is what I want too. Like I want to be able to have my own place. Like, yeah, I want to travel and do things, but like, dude, I've always wanted to have my own house. Like that's been my goal since I can't remember. Like just having my own fucking place. Like, just like, it's all mine. Like I have no rules. No one like expecting me to do stuff around the house. Like it's mine.
Yeah.
And then I just finally like Mitchell was probably like my biggest help in this whole thing. Like at the time, what happened was it was like 2018. I was working at this like CNC shop with my neighbor owned in Port Hills.
Oh yeah, I do. Cause
I would build like Boeing airplane parts, and like I would just like I would hate it, dude. Like,
well, I just remembered every job you've ever had was like cash. It was always
that's what
cash.
I'm saying. Most of it was cash. So like that's why like the process of me buying my first place took a lot longer, because like I never had a paper trail. So like when I go to show a T4 from like 2017, they're like, dude, this guy made $600 this year.
Yeah, man.
I'm like, no, I made straight cash this year.
Yeah.
But then, so I worked at that CNC shop, right? And I saved I remember saving 10 grand, and I was like, dude, I'm going traveling. So I was like, I need to go traveling. I always wanted to go to Southeast Asia. And I originally booked the flight with Lagler.
Right.
And then like, he like bailed, like,
I remember that.
Almost like up to the time of the trip. So like I got super scared. I was like, dude, there's no way I can do this trip alone. Like I was like, fuck that. Like I'm canceling. And my parents like talked me into it. Like, you'll have the best time. You got to do it. And I was like, hey, like grabbed my backpack, went to YVR, and I just hopped on this plane to China, man. Yeah. And like, I just remember sitting next to this chick, and she was like bumping me, like eating food, and crumbs were landing on me. And I was so mad. But my doctor prescribed me Ativan. Like, cause I told him, I'm like, man, like cause we'll get more into this in a bit, but like I do suffer from like really bad ADHD. Like you guys are probably noticing right now, like I keep moving and I don't mean to be, like I'm not on my medication right now, but it's just like something I've always struggled with my whole life.
Oh, I know.
So then like I have this chick sitting beside me, like, and I always have like struggles like getting comfortable. That's like my OCD thing, is like sleeping, dude. I have to have my head in like a certain position when I sleep or I can't sleep. So like off the bat, dude, I was having the worst time. I'm already depressed because I'm alone on this plane. 14-hour flight to China. Then I have like an 8-hour layover. I popped a bunch of Ativan. I fucking was out cold. Get to China, had this layover. And then I just like experienced this trip alone. And it was like the best thing that I've ever experienced. Like I'm so proud of myself for doing it because like if I didn't have like my parents and stuff like telling me that I should, like I probably would have canceled that trip. And like that was like a huge thing.
Yeah, that's still something I'm way too scared to do, or I never did because of that.
Yeah, I know, man. But you just gotta like look, like just do it. And, like no holding back. But anyway, so I came back from that trip. It was like 2.5 months, and I blew that whole 10 grand. Like I came home with like literally like probably $25 in my checkings account, like no money. And then I took a month off, and I was like, it was like summer, it was like July, and I was like, man, like I need to work because I was like still 22. I was like back in that phase of like not having any money, and like I'm like, man, like when's this gonna end? Like I can't even go out for a bite to eat with my friends because I'm that broke. So then at the time I was like, fuck, like I guess I'm gonna go back and work at this like machine shop. So then I started working there again, made a bit of money, and then me and Josh Young, because at this point too, I was like, man, I need to live on my own. I need to like experience this. Like, so me and Josh Young actually rented a basement suite together for a year. So right when I rented the basement suite, me and Mitchell started having like big talks. He's like trying to help me out. He always has been like that, right? Just trying to look out for me and like wants to see me do better. And he's like, dude, just take this operating course. Like, cause like, it's something I've always had like a little interest in. Like, dude, like, would you rather be outside freezing cold, or would you rather be warm in this machine? Like, flicking joysticks. And I was like, man, like that's definitely like something I've interested in, but I knew it was really expensive. So like at the time through like our union, it like the course they charge, it's $18,000. I'm like, how the fuck am I going to get $18,000? Like there's no way. So like I applied for it. It was like the end of July. I just got this basement suite so I needed to make money to like pay my rent, like food, whatever. And the union called me back. They're like, hey, like we have an opening in like the first week of September. And I was like, holy fuck, like how am I going to be able to afford living in this basement and then going to pay for a school, which is like 18 grand. So Mitch told me, he's like, man, like the union does like this, like they do grants for students. It's like 1 or 2 students a year that they'll give you like a $10,000 a grant. And I was like, man, that'd make like the biggest difference. So like I emailed them, like I talked to like the training coordinator and stuff. And then she's like, okay. She's like, we don't know if we can give you this. And I was like, well, like I need to know because like I want to take this course, but I can't afford the 18 grand. Like I want to become an operator. And then she's like, okay. Then they call me back. They're like, okay, like we'll give you it, but you have to write us like this 1-page essay about union principles. So I was like, done deal. Go to Mitchell's house, grab the laptop. Fucking Google's my best friend. I'm just searching on the whole thing, just type in.
What the hell are even union principles?
Dude, that's what I was thinking. I was like,
I don't know,
to
be
like,
about you or some
no,
shit.
it's just like principles of the union. They're so like weird about that stuff. So I get in, I do it, and then I go to the bank with John, my dad, and I'm like, okay, like I need to take like a fat line of credit out because I need to pay for like school. And I need to like live because like this course is 3 months long. So that's 3 months of rent, 3 months of gas, 3 months of food, and
liquor,
a little bit of partying on the weekends if I could. Yeah. So I was like, I got to do this. And then, so I got a $15,000 line of credit. My dad helped me out with a little bit of the money through the course. Right? He helped me out with that. And, so I did the course, I passed. The course ended in like December. So like it was like beginning of December. So that's already a point where it's like pretty hard to start getting work, right? Because like as soon as I did the course, I wasn't a full union member. Like they put me on a permit and you have to like work a union job for 3 months. So then I had to like, I kept calling dispatch and I was like, hey, like I need to work. I need a job. I'm so broke. Like, I literally like have no money. I have rent to pay, like all this stuff. And then it was like December was a write-off because they like jobs shut down for Christmas. So I kept calling. And then like it was January 2019 was my first like big job that I started making money. So I called the hall. They're like, hey, we have this job for you in Fort St. John. And I was like, fuck, like sign me up. I'm driving this like 2003 Volkswagen Jetta, like that old body style, like the Shell, this diesel. And like this thing was just like, I'll have like a highway warrior. Like I just like, I cruise this thing, man. Like, so like my first, I drove to PG because like wintertime it gets really dark early, and I'm like, there's no way I'm driving these highways at like nighttime, like snow, fucking everything. Like it was pretty scary. So I slept in PG. I woke up in PG. Like I remember this, like seriously, like it was like 4 a.m. I'm like, I'm gonna get a head start on the day. There's still like 3 hours of like darkness, and I started driving, and like there's this one road in between like PG and like Mackenzie and Dawson Creek. It's called the Pine Pass. Dude, it gets like 40 feet of snow a year. So like there was this like crazy snowstorm. I remember not be like looking at the road because I was the first car like on the road, and I couldn't see like what lanes were. I was dude, so I'm like guessing. I'm like, fuck. And I'm in this car, like semis are just flying by me. Like I'm like, dude, I'm dying today. Yeah. Like this is when I die. But like, thank God I made it up there. And like, I did that job for like 2 months, and like, I quit because like the guy I was working with was just such a cunt.
Oh, I remember that.
He would like yell at me. Like I remember like when the last time I stood up for myself, he's like, go back to Langley and like suck your mom's tits. He told me that. And I looked at him, I was like, fuck you, bud. I was like, I'm fucking out of here. And I just like got on the bus and left. But like that job, dude, like I worked that 2 months. I think I owed like, I'd say like 12 grand in debt at this time. And I did like, the first month I was up there, I paid like almost all that debt off. So I had like no money saved, but like I was like almost debt free, which like I like always wanted. Like I don't like owing money. I pay my visa off like all the time. Like I never have like money on that, but so I paid that off, and then I came back and had a little bit of money. So like that job, that was like my savior in a sense. Cause like, so then I have a level headed going on to my next job and opportunity. So then like, boom, like I'm fucking, all my debt's paid off, and then Mitchell helps me get on this local job, and like so we get on that, and then like this is like when I'm like in my life, my first time ever in life, like actually having real money, like and saving money, like making good money. So like it was like new to me, but like I think like I knew that I wanted to buy a place, and like sooner than later, and I had this goal. I was like, man, like I want to buy a place next year. Like I'm gonna save whatever I fucking can. And it helped a lot that like I switched my address from remember I paid you $100 to like Photoshop these papers.
Oh yeah.
So like you helped me Photoshop these papers, and I had to switch my address. We switched like so illegal. I switched all these insurance papers like for like addresses and times. Dude, I had to buy this custom $100 stamp. Because like it's so hard to find stamps that are backdated like dates, because I guess for the same thing, like fraud. Yeah. So I found the stamp like that's like 2018, and like because you know like insurance papers have like real stamps on it. Yeah. So I had to stamp that, like all this shit. You helped me with that. Sorry, my ears really itchy. And then so then I got paid this like it's called live out expense, where like if you work out of town, they pay guys that don't live there to like find places to rent. But I'm still living at my dad's house, so like I'm like fuck like. Sorry. I'm like making like all, and it's tax-free money too. So I would put that all away, and like I would just save. So I did that job for like, I would say like 7 months, 8 months, and then saved a bunch of money from that. And then last October I think I like saved up like 45 grand. And I was like, fuck. So then I'd like, this is when Lucas too started like becoming a realtor and stuff, and like dealing with everything. And like all these guys are buying houses and stuff. And I was like, I want to go look at some stuff that's being built right now. So like me and Lucas, like we're looking around, and then like I found this one where like we were getting like a good rebate back, where I was getting money back after the purchase. Like it was like a realtor kickback, and I made a deal with Lucas, like I'll get money back in return. So we found this place, like this unit, and then like I fully went through with it as a pre-sale. But I knew to qualify for my mortgage that like, because this was like my only real year on paper making like real money. So like I knew like for the up and coming year, I'm like, I have to make money. Like I have to like gross a certain amount year to date to be able to get qualified. So I took that gamble. I was like, fuck it. Like I'm throwing the money down. I'm doing this. And I just made it my goal. Like I was like, man, like everything put aside, like I'm fucking saving. And like, it was crazy. Like I literally recently just got the approval, which has been like the best thing. But like, if it wasn't for like this line of work and like, saving or like making this much money, like I wouldn't be where I am right now. But it came with a big price though, man. Like, so I've been out of town most of this year. Like at the beginning of this year, I was in Fort St. John for 2 months, and then came back, and then I was working on the water for this company, like dredging on the water, building out the Vancouver port. And then I flew back, well, with my ex at the time. It was pretty tough on her Because when I'm out of town and stuff, obviously, like, it's pretty tough. Like pipelining, when you're pipelining, dude, you don't get to come home, right? Like you work Monday to Saturday, you get Sunday off, and like the only times you can come home is like a long weekend. But you have 2 days to drive 12 hours to go home, and then there's a day gone right there. Then go back up. It's like I did that once with her when I was in PG, but it definitely took a toll on our relationship, and like especially myself. Like I definitely changed last year a lot in the sense where like, man, my main focus was just saving and getting this place. So like it took a big toll like on our relationships and stuff, which like I realize now, and like it sucks because like I wish that never happened, but it happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, like it was just crazy this past year. It's just like working out of town and like doing stuff. And like now, like the job I'm at now, it's like I've never been on a job where you fly in, fly out and you have a rotation, which like I really like. So now I'm like up there for 21 days and like fly home for 8 days. Yeah. Which is nice because like you get to come home. Like it actually just flies by.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that in that sense, like it's been good. But like now it's like, man, my main goal, like I'm setting another goal for next year. Like I want to buy a place in Kelowna and I want to move up there, rent my place out down here. So that's going to be my next big goal. Yeah. I'm just going to keep working towards it. And like, I feel like it'll be fine.
Like, do you think you're going to try and you want to stay on like something more rotational or like
right now where I'm at, I'm in Kitimat, and like I'm I'm loving it. Like it's just like the work's good, like the people I work with are good. It's so weird in our industry, man. Like you go to job and you'll see like 10 people that you've worked with in past jobs. Yeah. It's so weird like that. But yeah, I think like as of right now, like dealing with like all this like relationship stuff that I just dealt with and like where I'm at with my head and mind, like working and staying busy has like been like my biggest savior because like I don't have time to like sit and think because like when I'm like home alone, like even now, like I'm still obviously dealing with some stuff, but like when I'm home, like, dude, everybody's doing stuff. So like I'll be home and it's like a Monday or Tuesday. And like most people, like not you and stuff, but most people that work regular jobs aren't home. I don't do anything. No, but like you have more time. You work on your own schedule.
Yeah. No, I know.
But you know what I mean? Like most people work these 9 to 5s and it's like, what do I do in the morning? I wake up, go to the gym, and then I literally will come home and I'm like, dude, I have like all fucking day to do nothing. Yeah. So like I go for a run, like, but I've definitely like done a lot of like new habits that I've never had before. Like I've never read. And then like I like when I was dealing with a bunch of that stuff a few months ago or a month ago, whatever, I like reached out to you and Jamie. So I reached out to you guys and we started talking a lot and like, which helped me a lot. And then you guys gave me some book recommendations. I started listening because I can't read. Like this comes back to my ADHD again.
I can't read.
I can't read books, dude. I'll read a page and then I'll totally forget what I just read. Yeah. It's just like my mind doesn't work like that. Like I have to listen to something. So then I got Audible or whatever. And we started like, I got some books. Like right now I'm listening to Matthew McConaughey's like memoir that's called Green Lights. Yeah. It's pretty interesting. And then I recently started journaling. Oh yeah, that's so awesome. I started when I was at camp. Like it's just nice because like in moments there's certain things I want to say and like I want to get out, but like I don't really have anybody to talk to about it. So like it feels so refreshing and nice just like to type what's on your mind, like feelings that you're feeling that day, because realistically you're not going to look back on certain days and know how you felt in like these moments unless it's like a huge emotional like big like dramatic thing that happened in your life. Like you're never gonna know like how you felt that day, and it's pretty cool just to, like go back and look back and like just like see it, you know what I mean? And like you can like just be like, fuck, like that's how shitty I was feeling that day, or like, oh yeah, that happened that day. Like it's cool.
Yeah, it's crazy to like uncover patterns with it too, where you can see like you're writing the same thing, you're being bothered by the same things, and also just like a way to get your thoughts like out of your head and onto the paper. So it's like you're saying you want to like essentially release them. Yeah. I feel like then instead of like continually thinking about whatever it is, you just put it on the paper and then you're like, okay, well, like now if I want that thought, I can just go read it again. You don't have to like dwell on it, you know? You just know that it's there, and if you feel like going back to it for some reason or whatever it is, you can. Yeah, man, I think it's super good.
Definitely this year, like I've learned a lot about my mental health and like a lot of things that I've struggled with, and I feel like it's been happening a long time, but I've never like accepted it kind of in a sense. I feel like I just never like thought like this was like an issue, but it has been, man. And like I have been like trying things, and like you guys referred me to people. Like I talked to Ed. Yeah. I've just like been like doing like trying more healthier habits. Like I cut back on my drinking. Like I haven't drank probably, it's almost been a month now.
Oh, nice.
So I almost did your month challenge without doing the challenge.
Yeah, there you go.
So like work helps a lot, but like still even at my type of jobs, dude, people get pissed up every day.
Oh yeah.
And I can't drink like during the days, man. Like if I don't know, man. Like I'm not the type just to drink.
Mm-hmm.
I drink to get fucked up and like party.
Yeah.
So like I'm not just the casual drinker. And like I also get like the worst hangovers ever where it's like it's not worth it, man. It ruins my next week.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, why do I do that for one night? Like it's not even worth it.
Yeah, I find I don't like it, like now in like recent years, every time I do it, I'm like, okay, that's like, I just don't think it's worth it anymore. I feel like we've like filled our lives up with so many of those memories already. Where like, I remember back in the day, we'd be like, oh man, like we would think it is worth it. I feel like back in the day where
What,
it's
like having that hangover?
yeah, because like, dude, and we'd all be together and we'd be laughing our asses off. And like, it was almost like the morning after was funnier a lot of times. But I don't know, we always just had such crazy stories and things. Like, dude, like it's just, I guess like the way I kind of lived about it was like, it's worth the story.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, man, it's worth the dumb shit. And
It's like, well, would you rather this sick memory or this, or like, but you're like, you know, have to have this shitty hangover. And like, obviously you're going to pick that. Like,
yeah. And then it's funny how it changes though. I feel like we just had so many of those memories, like you kind of outlive it where now it's just like, okay, like now, you know, maybe now the memories that we want to create are just different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I like, that's like one big thing. And I'm pretty like happy about myself is like, I've definitely outgrown a lot of those things. Like now, okay, for like in the past, like when I've gone through breakups, I use alcohol as like,
oh yeah,
I'm like, fuck, like I'm just going to get shittered. Like, and use that as like my outlet or whatever you would say.
And like go, yeah, it's like doing that and going out is like, you know, you see other people or potential like girlfriends or whatever, right? It's like, yeah,
you think you're gonna see your potential girlfriend.
You think, yeah, bro. Yeah,
dude, I'm meeting my new girlfriend tonight. Like, go to Cactus, fucking
dude. Honestly, that's literally what we thought. It's like, bro, I didn't have a girlfriend for 5 years.
All the time, eh? Like, dude. Like maybe our girlfriend's at Gabby's tonight.
Yeah,
we gotta go.
Yeah, we literally would. Well, yeah, took 5 years. I still didn't meet her at Gabby's. Fuck.
But like for me, like I think it's something that I just accepted as like in the past 2 years, like since I've been like really like not like drinking and stuff, where like I just know that alcohol's not for me.
Yeah.
It's not something that I can just do. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's why like when I do get drunk now, it's got to be for a reason, and it's got to be for like a good reason. Because I'm not just like wasting that on like something, right? It's not like I have anything really against alcohol. Like I don't agree on like drinking every day.
Yeah.
That's not like something I agree on. But like I feel like if you can handle it and you can still have some fun with your friends, like on occasions, like I don't see anything wrong in that.
No.
But it's definitely something that's not for me in a sense, because like my body just can't do it. Like I react like so bad to it. Like I become such an asshole when I'm hungover. I fucking hide in my bed. Like there's been times where you guys can't even find me.
Yeah, dude.
I get texts like, dude, where are you? I'm like, dude, I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to like die.
Yeah,
like,
bro, you would fall off the map for like 2 days.
Like I would be gone. Yeah.
I remember getting calls from like your ex-girlfriends like, what the fuck happened to Austin? Like, I'm taking him to fucking rehab. Dude, I would be like, holy shit.
I was such an asshole, man. Like, I would be like, I would ditch her. I would be like, oh, yeah, like, I'm just doing this. Like, we'd literally just be out partying with like randoms till like 5 a.m.
Yeah, man.
It's crazy, man. But yeah, like, I feel like we've all, like, a lot of like our close friends, we've definitely outgrown it, which is nice because you still look back at certain people and like they still have those same habits. They still do that same shit. They still do like. And like I don't know, like it's just nice knowing that like we could have grown out of it. You just hit it like a lot younger than us, like you, and that was kind of just like what you felt. Like I didn't stop doing it because like I had like the anxiety and depression and stuff. It was just more so I knew my body like it wasn't meant for like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you're still getting just negative effects.
Yeah,
I think too, like with our friend group, like we've all sort of mutually helped each other in a sense too, where like. Someone you know closely has like broken out of that or has done the thing you want to do where like, you know, Mitch doesn't drink much.
No, he's the same way. But like when we do drink, we drink like,
but I think it's just where like, you know, at least we don't, whereas some of these other friend groups we've been in and out of or people that we know, like it's their whole group who's still doing the same thing. And if you don't have anybody inspiring you to change or do something else, it can be very hard too because you're still just like in the same group, you don't know anybody.
Yeah,
so I think that's what's cool about like talking about even just sharing that shit here. Like the more people that we know that listen to it go, oh shit, like I used to get fucked up with that guy, now like look at what's going on. Like,
yeah, no, totally. Like, I hope someone listens to be like, fuck, like Austin Copson was so much different like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, man, it's just like goes to show that everybody changes. And like, I don't know. I think it's like you just have the choice to make any change you want. It's like alcohol really gives like, it's not you. It's just like something you can change. So
yeah, and it's also like the people you hang with.
mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, having like,
because like having you guys like stop that at an age and like always having like all my good buddies work out of town. So it's like I barely even see these guys, and like luckily they don't drink when they're out of town. So it's like I still talk to them every day, but it's just like when you're not around those guys like getting fucked up every day. And like obviously like all this like COVID stuff nowadays, it's like you can't even go to the club. But like even if the club was open right now, I wouldn't even give a shit.
No,
I'd be like, dude, like what am I gonna do? Like,
yeah. No, I literally said that the other day to someone. I was like, dude, like, honestly, that's the best part about COVID is like, I honestly it never crossed my mind anyways to go to the bar. I think it actually like worries me more about like people I know or like being with a girl and I'm like, oh, like, you know, would she be asking me to go out all the time, like for drinks and stuff? Because I just fucking hate it. I'm like, dude, like, I don't want to do that. But it's nice to just like know that I never ever have to be prompted to like go to party at a bar right now or whatever by anybody. Which I don't get really much anyways, because no one asked me because I know I won't. But I don't know. I just feel
like we haven't really been like going to clubs and parties for quite some time now. So it's like,
no.
And nobody even has parties. Like,
no.
Well, that we hang out with.
No. I haven't been to one in a long time. No, I don't know. It's more. I just have more fun like getting together for like.
Dude, I'd rather hang out with two buddies, like go to like or even a nice restaurant.
Wasn't that the other night? You guys were here and just sitting around the fire. You and Jamie and Fraser. I don't know. I think that shit's like just as nice as like just sitting here and chilling and just talking. Like I know. I find so like when you're getting drunk like that, you're not really connecting that well, and I think maybe that's even like why in our partying days the after party was the best part because we were all together like connecting and talking and doing funny shit, whereas like at the bar it's just loud and everyone's pissed, you're waiting in line and like there's not a lot of chat or any like meaning, whereas I think the aftermath of that I don't know, but
like so recently I like got back on like my my ADHD medication, which is like, it's kind of different because I used to be on it when I was like out of high school for a bit. And like I stopped it because I didn't like the way it would like make me like, it would suppress my hunger and it would make me like super like kind of jittery sometimes. But then like, I don't know. It's such a weird thing when you actually have ADHD and you like take your Adderall, opposed to like say you would take it and it would just be like a complete different effect, right?
Right. Yeah.
It affects you like how it like it's a fucking disease, I guess. I don't know. But I like recently started taking it again. But like, I don't know, man. Like I just like I don't. It's not for me, man. I honestly like, as sad as this is, dude. I started like retaking it because like my relationship was going to shit and like. I like had a lot of troubles like focusing and listening and like certain things, and like I would just like blow her oftentimes. And she's like, "You need to go back on your medication." I'm like, you know what? Like, if this is gonna like, if this might help and like help us out, like I'll do it for sure. So then I started taking it, and then like, we didn't really end up getting back together, but.
Start taking it,
but I'm still taking it every day. Like it helps me in like certain situations, but it does the same thing where it like suppresses my hunger. And like I like working out and I like eating food, and like I don't like not being able to eat food because I'm taking this fucking pill.
Yeah,
it's like I like to wake up, eat breakfast. I like to eat lunch. Like I like to eat.
Do you feel like sick or you just don't feel hungry? I get
stomach aches. I get headaches. If I don't drink a lot of water, I get headaches on it. And then it's another thing where it's like, if I don't have this window in the morning when I take it, like I can't fall asleep at night because like the stuff I take is called XR. It's extended release. So like it releases throughout the whole day.
Right.
So like even at like night, dude, it'll still give me like that next dose. And then, like, I'm like sitting in my bed. I'm like, dude, I'm fucking wide awake right now. So then when I was dealing with like our, like me and my ex's like breakup or whatever, I went to my doctor because I couldn't sleep. I was like, man, I'm up all night. I can't do this. And he gave me like a bunch of Ativan. So I'm like taking all these fucking pills.
Yeah.
just to get some sleep in me. I'm like, you know what? Like if this works. So like I did it for like 3 nights and like he warned me. He's like, man, this stuff, like this drug category is like so addicting. Like
Ativan is.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a benzo. So it's like same like a classification as like Xanax and stuff.
Yeah, shit fucking drops.
It's for anxiety and stuff, right? And like it does help you sleep. So like I started taking them like at night and like I was getting like fucking great sleep. So I was like, holy fuck, like just out and I'm no anxiety, no like not overthinking. Because that's like a bad thing I have. Like a habit is like I think so much when I'm like laying in my bed alone. Just thoughts are just like just everywhere, right? So like that helped a lot. But then I just like looked one day and like I still had like a big bottle of this shit and I just fucking threw it in my fucking toilet. I was like, I don't need this. Like, I don't need to rely on something to sleep. Like if I can't sleep a couple nights, so what? Like I just gotta fucking power through it. And like I'll fall asleep sooner than later. Cause I don't want to rely on that stuff. Like it scares me, man. Like so many people get so fucked up from that stuff.
Oh yeah. It's not.
So I threw that out. And then I was talking, dude, cause I haven't smoked weed in like 3 or 4 years. Like I don't smoke weed, right? So I was talking to my mom, like my mom still smokes joints, like just like whatever, right? So I was like, I need to like find something that's like more natural. Cause I take a lot of melatonin and stuff, but my melatonin makes me like super overtired when I wake up. I get like really groggy. It's like I don't really sleep. You wake up and you're still like just like so tired and like I don't like that foggy feeling. So then I went to this dispensary with my mom in White Rock and I got some CBD oil. It's like just like CBD tincture and like it's like 0% THC because like I don't want to do THC. Plus with my line of work and stuff, you get drug tested like randomly all the time. So I just it's not worth it. So I started taking that and like I still do and like it's been helping a lot. Like I'll take like actually I take less than like the recommended dosage because like I get scared.
I always do that.
I'm like fuck, dude. I don't want to get high, but it doesn't make you high.
No,
it's so funny. So then I just like. I take that now. It helps me a lot. I just like, I don't get as much anxiety when I go to bed. I get good sleeps and it like help my recovery, like after workouts. And like, I noticed it a lot. It's pretty good.
Yeah. I mean,
so
to try. Like, I never have, but
yeah, I told you I'd give you some.
Yeah.
I got a bunch of it. Like you don't like, there's no psychoactive ingredients in it. So like you don't get high.
No.
Right? Like it's not like you're getting stoned. I was actually super nervous because like they make the bottles like, so there's like the 0 THC, which is the one I bought, right? And then there's other ones, which is like CBD with like 3%, 5% or something like that.
So that would get you high.
So you get like a little high, I guess. But like I'm like sitting there because I have a drug test coming up in 5 days.
Yeah.
And we all know like weed lasts like 30 days in your system, right?
Yeah, it's the longest one, isn't it?
It's the longest one. So then I'm already stressing out. I'm like, dude, like what if like the guy that batched this batch of CBD like mixed it with the other batch and like mixed batches? Like I was just like thinking all this dumb shit.
Yeah.
So then I'm like super scared. I bought my own I bought 2 drug tests so I could pre-take these drug tests, like these piss tests, before I took my real one. Just to like have that like complete clarity. So like, I piss in the first one and like I do the swab or whatever. And then like it's a 4-panel drug test. So like they only like do 4 drugs on it, THC being one of them. Like all of them went negative and the THC one didn't say anything. So I was like, what the fuck? Like, am I like high right now? So
my God.
So then I did the second one and that came up negative. So I'm like, okay, like that first test was probably just like something.
Yeah.
But like I passed it. It was just obviously something I was worried about because like I've never failed a drug test before, but
yeah.
Because like with our line of work, dude, like you fucking do anything, they'll be like drug test.
Yeah, and what
you hit something, drug test.
if you tested positive for drugs, do they like penalize you in any way?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what happens. I know the guy like he was in a rock truck or whatever, and he hit like this big water tank, and he got drug tested, and it came out for THC, and like he had to do this something, and like he's still working there. So I don't know. Like I feel like the THC thing is such bullshit. Like what? You work 21 days, you go home for 7 days, you can't smoke a joint.
Yeah,
I'm not saying I do, but like
I think it's kind of dumb too. Yeah.
So like I feel like they gotta like do like a cotton swab, it's like a 24, 48 hour one, so they know if you're stoned on the job, not like in your spare time. I feel like that's kind of brutal. Yeah,
I agree. I mean, I don't know. Like I still don't obviously give a fuck because
you're the biggest stoner.
I don't smoke weed, but like at the same time, like I don't know. You want to have a fucking rip of a joint or something like one day? Who gives a shit?
It's not like you're getting drunk or doing like.
Yeah, no.
I feel like getting high is like
the best thing ever.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's like drinking causes way more problems.
Yeah, 100%.
And they're both legal.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well. What do you think?
I don't know, man. Got anything else to ask me?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like, yeah, you're just kind of, wow, with the drugs and stuff, and like you're getting, yeah, dishing the Ativan. And what, are you still taking the ADHD stuff?
Yeah, I'm still taking that stuff, but I don't think I'm going to get my next prescription.
Like try without it for a bit.
Yeah, because like, what do I need it for now? Like, I'm not working on a relationship. I know I can do without it. It's like, yeah, like sometimes I can't focus on stuff, but like, dude, that's something I deal with myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Like right now, like I'm literally like touching myself this whole time and trying to like get comfortable positions. It's just something I've like dealt with my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny because like growing up in high school and stuff, my mom wouldn't let the doctors give me like the prescriptions. Like they knew that I had it. And like, she's like, you're not taking like Adderall or it was Ritalin or something.
Yeah,
like
it was
that.
Ritalin. All the
They're
kids
like, you're
said.
not taking that. Like I had to like live through high school without fucking like what I was supposed to be taking. And then like what happened was like what really fucked me up was like when I used to skateboard a lot. And like I hit my head at the skate park in Murrayville so hard, dude. I woke up in the hospital like 3 days later. And I like served like complete memory loss, like had the worst concussion possible. Like, and that was like my 7th concussion too at the time. So it's like the doctors were literally telling me like, your son can't do any sports, like no snowboarding, no nothing. I'm like, dude, that's all my favorite things to do. Like there's no way I'm not doing it. Like I always had to wear a helmet, which like I still don't, but it was pretty scary, man. Cause like, I feel like that was something that maybe might have engaged like certain things that's happened. I don't know.
Yeah, I could make it like worse or new things or whatever else. Yeah.
Like head trauma is pretty serious in that sense where like it does a lot of long-term stuff.
Oh, no, 100%.
Like I've heard stories of people like getting hit so hard in the head that they like start going like bipolar and like like
all sorts of shit.
Yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely scary. I feel like even that was a big part of my life. Like I've had a lot of big head hits, like with hockey, biking, all sorts of shit, man. Like tons of crashes.
We went to Whistler, we went biking in our first run. You fucking
died,
dude. That was so gross.
Oh,
I remember that. We saw that video on Instagram.
Yeah, it's still on Dion's page, I think.
This is so gross. Your bone was just fully out of your elbow. Oh, dude, our first run, eh?
Yeah, it hurts so bad, man.
I felt so bad for you. And then, I don't even want to talk about it, but we were in the hospital and they were like vacuuming out and like putting water in it.
Dude,
and shit.
They were spraying
and there was like pebbles coming out of your arm, dude.
There was 2 old ladies and I was laying there.
Dude, I was watching it. I was like, this is fucked.
They froze it and I forgot you were in the hospital with me. I thought you guys still rode.
We did one run and then I came back. I was like, man, I was so like not into biking at the time because like I just saw what happened to you and I was like, dude, this is gonna happen to me if I keep biking. Because we know we like that time we never wore pads, dude. You wore shorts and a t-shirt.
Yeah, but I hadn't ridden in like 3 years because we used to ride all the time. We were actually really good. And then I like hadn't ridden in 3 years and I was like, fuck, I'm going to crush this mountain.
We go right up to freight train and just eat shit.
And the rental bike too, like they're just not set up for like the same weights and stuff sometimes. And it was just like, I was not ready. Remember what the fuck I'm doing for those. I just hit this booter like over the bars. Fuck, that sucked. Yeah, man. But I don't know. What do you do?
You get stitches.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet. Okay. Well,
thanks for
I don't
having
know.
me on.
You got anything else you want to say? Any last words?
Not that I can think of.
You just got to get comfy.
Gotta get comfy, bro.
Sweet. Well, yeah, man, that was awesome. Like, thanks for sharing. And, you know, it was fun to talk about everything we've been through. And
man, there's so much we missed. And there's so many things that like, we should get like a couple of the guys on for an episode and like,
yeah, man. I've been meaning to get like 2 more mics. That would be like desktop ones, so we could have 4
like,
people.
But then I don't know. Maybe we need a new channel. We should start our own channel with like, because like half these stories, I feel like people just don't want to hear.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like might get. Yeah, I don't really know. I just feel like I don't know. Some people might relate to them or think it's funny or hate it or whatever it is, but I think it also goes to show too, like it's cool to show like how different we were. Like I think in the perspective of just showing change, and like extreme change. It's not just like we had a couple beers and we're like always like super nice, caring guys, and then like now we just like have a few less beers and we're still caring.
Yeah.
It's like,
But we just like, we can go for like runs, or we can go downhill biking, or we can.
yeah, everything is just like, I don't know. I think it's just cool to show like the diversity and the things that you can do as a person and the change that can take place. I think that's like the main point of it. But yeah, it would be cool to get everybody on here at once for some storytelling and shit.
Stories.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. We'll be in touch.
Yep.
Okay.
See you soon.
See ya.